Today we're in Mallorca with my friend Bernice.
Hi.
And we are talking about 10 tips to work with female models. But first, let's get to know Bernice.
So my name is Bernice. I'm a model in Mallorca. And today we are in Cala Esmeralda shooting with Josh.
This is the most beautiful place I've been to on the entire planet. So let's go shoot. For a lot of photographers, including myself, working with female models can seem pretty daunting and scary and a bit of an unknown territory when you're first starting out in your photography career. You might not know how to act or how to interact with the models, and that can create a bit of an awkward and embarrassing situation for you on set when you're trying to make amazing photographs. So in today's video, we are going to run through my top 10 tips to work with female models as somebody that's been doing so for over 10 years. Alright, tip number 1, this is very simple. You want to be as rude and as mean as possible. That was a joke! That was a joke! Alright, but seriously, tip number 1 is to create a safe and comfortable environment for your model to be in the first place. And not just while shooting, but every moment of the shoot. When they arrive, when you guys are getting prepped, hair and makeup, the actual shoot itself, any cool down or wrap up, every moment on set, they should feel safe and comfortable at all times. You want to make sure that your model knows that they're in a safe place. You're there to create art and not anything more. That's the goal of a photo shoot, is to take amazing photos. And most likely, if you're just starting out, the energy on set starts with you, the photographer. There might not be anybody else around. It might just be you and the model. So take that lead and create that safe and comfortable environment for the model to be in. Simple questions like, are we doing okay? Or if there's anything you need, just let me know. Or how we doing? How we feeling? Like any of these very simple questions, just to keep tabs and show them that you actually care about how they're feeling on set, will really go a long way. And this is why it's tip number 1, because without a comfortable and safe environment, well, then the model can't do their thing, which is be an amazing model for you, the photographer. So really, this is a thing that benefits everyone on set, you and the model. Tip number 2 is to communicate your vision clearly before you shoot. Now, I'm going to go ahead and assume that most of your shoots, like mine were to start out with, are smaller scale, just you and a model with a goal in mind. Whether that goal is your goal or their goal or a common goal, you want to share a vision going into the shoot beforehand. So make sure you send them things like a mood board, location references with exact Google Maps locations, any outfit or wardrobe notes that they might want to consider, and overall just any general vibes they might want to know before going into the shoot. Now, you might not know everything down to a T, like outfit, for example. If it's just going out and shooting casual photos, you might not know what outfit you want them to wear, but at least give your 2 cents. Look up some inspo on Pinterest or Google and send it over to them to show that you care. The important thing here is to show that you care about the shoot itself, and you're not just going in selfishly as a photographer trying to get pictures for yourself. Communicating your vision clearly will help the model and you be more prepared both mentally and physically when they arrive on set. Tip number 3 is to be respectful of physical boundaries. Now, this is a massive one and arguably one of the most important tips on this entire list, because physical boundaries are everything when working with any kind of model, but also especially in the case of female models. So the golden rule here is to never touch a model to adjust a pose or to adjust clothing or to adjust anything without their verbal consent first. And actually, even with that, it's much easier and much more comfortable just to direct and tell the model what you want. And if you can't accomplish it that way, then ask them, is it okay if I move this on you? Is it okay if I show you and touch your arm or touch your shoulder or touch your leg to put it into position? That is where that comes into play. But besides that, use your own directorial skills to show them and ask them verbally what you want to happen. Doing this at first might be difficult if you're not used to giving clear instruction, but over time, the only way to get good at giving instructions is to give them a lot, over and over and over again. Now, my favorite and easiest way to do this is to not only say out loud what I want them to do, but to show them on my body myself. And I think that's really fun and cute and playful because they might laugh at me doing a weird pose and they might laugh at me trying to pose like them. It breaks the ice and overall it builds that trust and that harmonious relationship with the model. But like I said, never touch a model without asking them first. That is just the golden rule, absolute golden rule. I cannot state that enough. Do not touch a model without having verbal confirmation from them to do so first. Which kind of leads me to my next point number 4, which is to lead with direction and not control. Now, you as a photographer and as the director behind the camera, your goal is to bring a vision to life and not command them to do exactly what you say. You want to give frameworks and not commands. So a framework would be something like, oh, do you mind trying to turn your body towards the light a bit more? Because I really want to capture the sun on your skin. That's a framework. A command is, do this, do this. You're going to do this. That's a command. That's very cold, very harsh, not very inviting, and obviously will not foster a good relationship on set and for future shoots as well. What I like to do when I give directions is I like to give them a reason why I want to try something. I'll say, actually, do you mind turning around to face the light? I want to get like a really cool silhouette shot of you where the photo is backlit against the sun. I explain the shot and explain the directions so that it gives more context and purpose to what I'm asking them to do. All in all here, just be nice and loose with your framework or your directions and do not just command them to do exactly what you say. Tip number 5 is to compliment authentically and professionally. You want to avoid giving them compliments overly about just their appearance alone. That's not the only reason why they're on set. They're also on set because they're amazing at posing, or the wardrobe or the vision was great for their look and their style and their appearance, but their appearance by itself is not the only reason why they're on set, so don't just stick to compliments about that. Instead, try saying things like, oh, that pose is working perfectly, or oh my god, the light is hitting you absolutely beautifully right now. Anything to reinforce that what they're doing on set is correct for you and for your vision will go a long way to making them feel, again, a lot more safe and comfortable and happy on set. Which then leads me to tip number 6, which is to keep the energy positive and light while you're doing the photo shoot. Whether it's a photo shoot or a workplace setting or anywhere in between, nobody wants to work with somebody that's grumpy and cold and mean looking and frowning and awkward. You want to have a positive and light-hearted attitude going into the shoot. Now, you might be nervous, you might be very nervous going into your first shoots, but I promise you having a positive and light-hearted energy, having a smile on your face, keeping things fun, making them laugh, you moving around a lot looking like you have a lot of energy will again break that ice and build that rapport and that trust with the model. Tip number 7 is to be mindful of posing. Now, posing can be really anything that the model is doing with their body to bring a composition and an image to life, but be mindful and intentional with what you're asking the model to do. Is the pose maybe too uncomfortable or revealing or objectifying? You want to think about these things before asking them what to do because they might not be comfortable with it in the first place. Now, if it is a pose that you think might tread that line of it, always ask them first, is this okay with you? I have this idea. Is this okay with you? If not, totally fine. We'll move on to the next one. And I have that happen all the time where I ask a model, is this pose idea okay with you? And if they say no, which also does happen, it's all good. I just pick myself up and go, okay, let's go to the next one. Problem solved. Done. Because also, I guarantee you that if you go ahead and take that photo with a pose that the model is uncomfortable with, it might come back to bite you in the butt in the future anyways. So just play it safe. Only shoot poses that the model is comfortable with doing in the first place. Tip number 8 is to give the model a bit of a sneak peek at some of the photos during the shoot. Now, obviously, sometimes it's a bit weird to show the model some raw photos straight out of the camera, but I gotta be honest with you, they're not looking at how you shot the photo, they're looking at themselves in the photo to make sure that they like what they're doing with their posing, with their wardrobe, with their stance, with everything that they're doing in the shot. They're making sure that they are doing a good job for them, not so much how you are taking the photo. And what will happen is either A, they will just love the shots and want to keep going even more and have more confidence going into the shots, or they might want to change something because it's something that they saw on themselves or something that they want you to maybe consider while shooting. And that's also a good thing because then you can pick up, get that live feedback on set and not after the fact when it's too late. Now, obviously, you want to keep this short and brief because shoots do happen really fast, but give them a few sneak peeks. I like to give a sneak peek every 2 or 3 poses, especially if it's a photo that I think is an absolute banger. I will have over enthusiasm about it and run to them to show them the image, just to show them how much I care about the shoot. Tip number 9 is to use language that empowers. Now, you don't want to use words that might be misconstrued as being over the line or tiptoeing on that line, if you know what I mean. You want to use safer words that are more neutral as opposed to ones that are more objectifying towards a female model. So instead of saying something like, oh, that looks very sexy, that might be a bit objectifying and a bit tiptoeing the line. You might want to say something like, oh, I love how empowering and confident this pose feels. See how that feels more neutral and just straight down the middle as opposed to words that might come across a bit objectifying, especially if you don't know the model. That's kind of what this tip is all about. And also use your best judgment because after working with models many times over and over and over again, you might build a different kind of rapport and personal relationship with them where those words and that line can be shifted a bit as well. So you can have a bit more flexibility. But as a first-time photographer with a first-time model, your first time interacting and shooting together, you always want to play it safe. And then tip number 10, and this is the most difficult one to organize a lot of the time, but it is to have a female assistant on set with you when possible. Now, I will say that I'm really grateful because a lot of the time for my photo shoots, or not a lot of the time, but sometimes for my photo shoots, I'll have my fiance Britt with me on set for various production assistant type roles just to help me out with a second pair of hands. But having that female body and that female person as your assistant on set to work with a female model will really break that ice and make everyone feel more comfortable. And then you know what? One bonus tip here, tip number 11, is to respect their privacy off camera. Now on set, you might take some BTS videos on your iPhone, let's say, or whatever it might be, and you might be really stoked and gung-ho to post those on Instagram or social media. But I will urge you to always get permission from the model beforehand. I actually like to do it on set, just so I know right out the gate whether or not they are okay with me posting a video or not. But if you don't do that, then just send them a simple DM or a simple text and ask them if it's okay that you post this video, post this photo, because you really want to promote this amazing shoot that you guys just did. Thank you guys so much for watching this video on top 10 tips to work with female models. Bernice, thank you so much for shooting.
Thank you.
That was a ton of fun. These were genuinely some of the best pictures I've ever taken in my entire life. Probably because of her, probably because of the scenery, and probably a little bit because of me, but all together we made an amazing team and made some amazing photos together. And I hope you guys learned a thing or two in this video. Make sure you guys go and follow Bernice on Instagram. Make sure you guys like this video and subscribe down below. But until next time, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.